All right, so everybody welcome. This is, I think, the sixth year. We started doing it in 2019, annual kickoff that we've done. It's an opportunity for us to reflect on the past year, troubleshoot a little bit transparently about some of the issues that we had, and then ideally forecast for the future of the year. The first half of the day today, we will all be together in this room. It's probably, looking around, will be the last time that we're all together in this room. We'll have to find a new venue. But for the back half of the day, the clinical staff's going to go over to the Columbia office. We're going to do some stuff that's going to require us to be up, move around, be on the turf, be around the treadmills. But there's also a conference center over there that will be able to house us for things involving UME and prompt. But I'm super excited always just to be in a situation where, hey, we made it another year. And in a year like this year, it's especially important. We've been in business for a decade, which is pretty amazing, pretty crazy to think about, and definitely has me very, very optimistic that we will be able to continue to move forward and do the thing, which is deliver an amazing service, lock arms every day with people that you genuinely enjoy working with, and make an incredible impact on your local communities. The first presentation that I'm going to dive into today is going to be me and my perspective on kind of where we're at. You all filled out a lot of end of the year surveys. I think that for the most part, a lot of you feel very comfortable at affording us feedback on a regular basis throughout the year. So I do feel like we have a lot of things in place that allow us to have a good, again, perspective of where we're at. I like to think that we're pretty honest with ourselves. There's obviously going to be some great stuff every time we reflect on the past year, and then obviously some pain points. But if everybody has that presentation up, I'll just kind of move through it. But the biggest one is thank you. We did it. It's like awesome to be in a situation. We have over 100 people, 11 locations. We're thriving. It's very, very different than say like 3 to 4 years ago, where we're doing this in the midst of a pandemic, trying to keep our head above water, trying to figure out what's next in terms of societal and external pressures. It's not to say that we aren't still facing some kind of external pressures. If you hear the big word inflation, or you're looking at cost of education, like there's always things to consider and juggle and kind of navigate. But it's definitely nice to be in a situation where I think we're very, very stable. Some quick shout outs. If you are new to the company in 2024, stand up. Come on, don't be shy. Okay. Or just recently in 2025 to start the year. Okay, all right, give everybody a hand, right? Pretty cool. Okay. Everybody take a seat. Okay, kind of a cool one. If you received a promotion or moved into a new role in the company within the last year, stand up. If you won an award at the R2Ps, stand up. If you got board certified in the last year, stand up. Should be a couple of you, right? Hey, there we go. If you helped us open a new office in the past year, stand up. Right? And if you help implement anything that was new in terms of a system that R2P now uses, stand up. That should be the whole room. Okay? Prompt, weave, everything, right? That was kind of a trick question. Okay? We did a ton of new last year, but if you go to slide 4, here is our stat sheet. Kind of look at the stat sheet. We have 104 people in the company. It's kind of crazy. There's a breakout of your leadership, your admin support, billing staff, marketing staff, clinicians, clerical, right, front desk, and then seven VAs, international staff. We added a new county last year. We added additional square footage. The stuff on the right is going to be your new patients. So we almost had 10,000 brand new patients in the company ecosystem, which is pretty cool. Obviously, I'm confident we'll hit that this year. 134,000 visits, leading to almost 150K in terms of patient slots, and consistently 93 net promoter score. So we continue to grow. We continue to have these quality control metrics. You know, that's a major one in terms of the patient or client-facing net promoter score, the feedback that they give us. That is correlated with them being likely to give us a word-of-mouth referral. It's correlated with brand loyalty. So keep in mind, you know, that net promoter score is very, very grounding for us moving forward. We're doing the thing that we want to do, which is deliver an amazing experience and ideal outcomes. And then if I got into like front desk and behind the scenes stuff, I would like to give everybody that is not a clinician an amazing round of applause. So everybody can join me, okay? They had an amazing year with regards to all of their metrics. Alex is largely the person that shares the metrics with myself and the site directors. Obviously, we have micro initiatives, macro initiatives, but given the fact that we had a brand new EMR, new phone system, overall a lot of new being thrown at them, for them to still do what they did last year is something really, really special. Slide 5, 2024 upgrades. Now, I mentioned a couple of them. New EMR, new phone system. Where's Jennifer and Monica? Perfect. Okay, give them a round of applause too. Billing, in-house. Revenue cycle management, in-house. Not an easy transition. For those of you who've been with the company for a while, you know we got to a point with WebPT where we just weren't getting what we needed in terms of outsourcing billing. We've made this transition. Now we're entirely in control of the process. A lot of different things thrown at them last year. Change healthcare hack, in addition to transitioning the roles and responsibilities of revenue cycle management. But overall, I mean, they've done a tremendous job, and now we're to a point where we finally have like a normal operating system, normal flow. It's not to say there's not little one-offs that pop up here and there, but it is nice to be in a situation where you do have complete control of the process. Because when you outsource and you're providing an outside company with a certain amount of your revenue for collecting revenue for you, and they're not doing a good job, and it's disrupting cash flow, and you're constantly getting excuses and this, that, and the other, you kind of feel like you don't have any control of your money, which, you know, for a business is not very comforting. So it's nice to be in a situation now where we have, you know, a weekly cadence or little one-offs where we're able to troubleshoot, work through things. And again, it's nice to start 2025 in a situation where we have complete control of the process. We know what's going on. We know what we're expecting. And we're able to work through problems in real time on a regular basis. At the end of the year, we switched from Kelly Benefits with regards to payroll. That is payroll benefits. And in terms of fancy terms, that's called a human capital management platform. So an HCM platform that ideally will get more and more optimized moving forward. But we do like that it kind of mirrors some of the self-service functions that people are getting from a patient standpoint. You have a lot more self-service. You have a lot more things at your fingertips in Paycom, instead of relying potentially on other people to do things in the previous Kelly platform. We had to do an accounting overhaul. This was made even more difficult with the Change Healthcare hack. And to put things into perspective for Change Healthcare, you know, the biggest healthcare related disruption puts you in a situation where you can't really track the flow of claims to payment to then having things on our end that we're able to look at and attribute where money is coming from. It didn't get fixed until what, November? It was finally, they said they were done?
They were done at the beginning of May, but we didn't get everything posted until October.
Yes, so in the back half of the year, they finally said that all of the fixes associated with the Change Healthcare hack were in place. We went through about a 2.5 month period where instead of having the benefit of technology, we had to do a lot more manual work. So you're trying to do some of your normal processes, you're trying to change the way that your accounting and your bookkeeping team is doing things. It just created a lot of work. So it's nice to, again, be in a situation where in the back half of the year, honestly, final quarter, We have a lot better handle of finances within the company. At the beginning of the year, we added disability compensation. This is kind of like what's called a top-up program. It's particularly important for individuals who either have, or largely who are having childbirth, who are in a situation where we can provide them with additional income on top of short-term disability. That was something that is more and more relevant with my recent changes in my personal life and just kind of seeing it firsthand and all the different things that go on behind the scenes to handle paperwork and money and time, and yeah, it is a lot. And then the final thing that Jamie, I don't know where there we go, helped out with, we have a new dry needling program, which is pretty cool. Relatively short period of time, Q4 and then Q1, people can be entirely dry needling certified. It is something that people regularly are asking for, and it's nice to no longer have to pay $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 a course, and instead, quite honestly, like to bring it in-house and control it and everybody knock it out at once, it's like 2/3 the cost, right? Which we want to provide that. We also want to do it in a financially intelligent way, so the fact that we have enough people that we can do a big group is awesome. A couple wins. Slide 6, which is, let me say this, it is cool to grow, and then you start to realize like the benefits of growth, okay? We get discounts to all 4 of these like partner platforms, and some of them are like pretty significant, to be quite honest. So that is a win, right? When you're not having to pay full price because the company is attractive, because you have a certain amount of scale, certain amount of providers, you're in good geographical areas, like those are wins, okay? And then on the back half of that, fee schedule changes. All we hear about is declining reimbursement, yes? All the time, right? Okay, and I get it. I'm not saying it's not a reality, but you got 2 wins there. Like Ash and Cigna was kind of a drop in the bucket. That happened right around the back half of the year. We moved the pay scale up from the bottom up, right? Some of you got raises or in that staff PT or that newer PT bracket. We also changed the senior PT compensation. Humana TRICARE went into effect December 1st. So we're going to kind of see what the real effects of that. Some of you, right? TRICARE, good amount of people at your respective offices. We're going to see the benefits of that. I do think that this year, and I don't want to like put my foot in my mouth, we'll have a Care First increase, and that'll be a more serious conversation. Hopefully when we go through some of the things today, especially that Corey and Zach are talking about, and then also my presentation on how R2P works and everybody learns how to just play the game a little bit more, like we will go to our biggest payer that's like 40% and we will get an increase. Okay, like because of the room, the size, the scale, and the outcomes. But they did say, and why discharges and successful discharges will be more and more of a conversation, is you don't have enough data for the people that you've seen from us. That's tough. That's like we've done the work, we know we've done the work, but we didn't actually show that we did the work. So think about that, okay? As we talk about discharges and as people are on you to improve your successful discharge numbers. If you don't have 2 FLRs, they don't care, okay? You can say, oh, I do good work, we do great work. Prove it, okay? If you can't do it objectively, you're not contributing to the greater good of the company ecosystem, okay? And when you get a fee schedule increase from Care First, it changes total compensation economics for the entire company. So that stuff is very, very relevant. Everything on there is an R2P economy win, okay? If you think about that big picture. Anybody have any questions on that? I mean, that's like so important, right? Like, what are the benefits of growth? You change your economy, right? You win more collectively, win more individually, and it makes it easier for you to show up every day and go, all right, I got certain things taken care of, we're growing, we're moving forward, I'm benefiting from it, my teammates are benefiting from it, and now I can just focus on doing the thing, which is, delivering amazing service and amazing experience for people. Pain points. There's always some, these are just things I think that came up probably most often. First one, process and system changes aren't fun, okay? Last year, I know I'm not the only one that sometimes went, man, this is not enjoyable, but it's very important, right? We had to create a new operating system for the organization. create a more sustainable base operating system, knowing that there's better things out there to support you all, better things out there to have our relationship change with with the clients, the front desk, the clinical staff, right? If there's things to more easily allow people to interact with one another, we need to make those changes. Second thing there, learning how to consistently grow. Every time you open a new office, you learn. We're getting better and better at refining those processes, narrowing in, making it more repeatable. The different elements are always related to people, but if you can get so close with regards to the guardrails and the structure that people have, you can have variance in your individuals that are operating in a new location environment. But when you go through the first four, and you've got a relatively small company, if you're talking about, again, Frederick, Germantown, Mount Airy, and Bethesda, a lot of control there. A lot of like community familiarity, right? Just being transparent. I mean, not saying there aren't other people involved, but between myself and Zach, the network was very, very big in those 4 locations. And then you try to repeat, and you're learning how to find similar ways to navigate the community because we are largely a direct access business. Direct access business requires relationships. If you don't have relationships, good luck, okay? Go to a big hospital system, go to POPs, go somewhere where you have naturally just referrals flowing over, but you might not like how you show up every day in the working environment that you're in, or potentially the patients you're working with, etc. Okay? We have to go out and generate relationships. We're a relationship business. So that the more that we are able to understand how we speak to the consumer, how we get out in the relationship, where is high ROI places for us to be to get those community connections, to allow our location to flourish. Those are things that we will continue to ideally refine, to allow us to continue to open locations and be successful as quickly as possible. There's things here, accounting, HR, and legal suck. There's no way around it. It's not enjoyable. I don't enjoy numbers. I don't think myself, Matt, Jen, Zach, Alex, anybody else that's involved in the HR side of things enjoys it. We are making choices to simplify. That will become more apparent as the year goes on this year. I do think at some point this year, we will have a full-time HR person. Okay, I know some of you have been waiting for that. Sometimes you got to kind of divide and conquer, and then bring on non-billable staff. Non-billable staff in terms of behind the scenes is always a choice in terms of looking at bringing on a salary that's not directly generating revenue. Does it make sense? Is it absolutely needed? We're getting to a point where I think that from a staff standpoint, we can be more efficient if people offloaded their 10% HR tasks, or Matt, I'm not going to say X% HR tasks associated with running payroll and stuff like that. So, and then legal side, I mean, legal is always going to be an important pain point. Some of you, especially leadership, have heard me say this more and more. We have to be extremely risk averse at this size, okay? We have to always be thinking with a risk averse mindset. We are too big to allow ourselves to be casual and careless as it relates to anything involving risk. We are attractive to take down. Okay? We are not a 6-person PT place in Frederick that nobody's ever heard of, that nobody's going to look at and in an advantageous way potentially want to find something wrong. So if everybody can just think of that phrase, it can be kind of in the back of your mind, but if there are ways to make ourselves harder to be involved in anything litigious, it would be tremendous. So just be thinking about it at the back of your head. I have no problem paying for our lawyers to do stuff proactive, because the more we do that, the more that we obviously do things that are by the book, and we take care of things in a way that is ethical and safe and compliant. But we also safeguard ourselves against other people who might be more opportunistic, who might come into the company ecosystem. And just something to think about too, but, and I'll just be transparent here, like, we've had 10 years, none of that stuff, zero, okay? We've had 2 people try to make complaints to the board for PTs in the company ecosystem, and because of the way that we've done things from a documentation, note, etc. standpoint, submit it to the board, you go do the talks, you know what the board does? You guys are good, you did everything by the book, appreciate it, right? And they push back. And we want to keep having situations like that, or we have enough safeguarding that somebody doesn't even want to potentially complain about you to the board. And for people who have been in other ecosystems, right, I think, and I'm trying to, somebody else I've had a conversation with, it does happen in other ecosystems, and at least based on my knowledge, more frequently. So I like the fact that we are in this very, very low risk category. I want to keep staying in that low risk category. Front desk hiring is something that will continue to, I think, be an evolving challenge. I think that there are a lot of different market dynamics that play into that. I think we're trying to be as proactive as possible about making it easier, especially because we realize how important our clerical front desk team is to overall operations. Obviously, the benefit of tech and self-service functions does help, but that human element, we never want to lose that. And we want to make sure that we're getting as much feedback, and this is me saying, right, if anybody's out there who's in one of those positions, has suggestions, my Slack or emails are open. We want to continue to be places where we're attracting people who can give the right customer service experience at the front, who can work with our team, who can work with technology, and be in a situation where, again, they're an integral part of our healthcare ecosystem. Administrative burden, I don't think that's ever really going to change in terms of pain points. I will say that I'm learning more about United out-of-network billing. I'm not saying that that's going to happen immediately, but you'll hear me use a word later and kind of throughout the day, the word abundance. If you create more abundance, it's easier to kick somebody to the side that you don't like working with, okay? So if United out of network is only a $15 difference potentially between in and out of network, and we don't have to jump through any of the hoops, and maybe you only lose a percentage of individuals because they don't quite understand how difficult it is to work with United and why you might not want to be in network with United, then we might make that decision at some point. That is something that I would consider. Administrative burden is never going to be, unfortunately, something that leaves healthcare, but could we at least create enough abundance from a company ecosystem standpoint that you can make a decision to say, see you later? And then something I think that is important, and it kind of gets lost in, what we have going on, especially a year like last year, we're focused so much on operating system items, and you're not focused on your messaging and your external comms, external communication, but the direction and messaging. And I think that through today and ideally throughout the remainder of the year, and it's something that's definitely going to be in the back of my mind, what is the direction of the company and what messaging are we communicating amongst ourselves that then gets transferred outside? I think sometimes when we've grown, I haven't done a good enough job of giving you all tools to own the messaging. And I take for granted some of the conversations I have with people that I naturally have more proximity relationships with, or just long-standing relationships within the company. So being more communicative about direction and messaging is definitely something that starts with me, and then ideally I disseminate that out to you all.